Hey everybody, and welcome to our podcast. Let's talk ones and zeros. Now, this week has been an interesting week. There's been a big announcement from Samsung, and like always, I've got Ben and I've got Jabed on the call. Hey guys, how are you both doing?
Hey, good.
Hey.
Just I'm sure we're all feeling the exact same way right now. 31 degrees, slowly melting. So this will be an interesting podcast for sure.
Is it 30 degrees? It's air conditioning. I don't know. I can
lucky
can hardly
you.
tell.
Lucky you. 31 actually, 31 degrees, which is unheard of in this country, really. Let's be honest.
Well, we did have 40 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? So that was a bit unheard of. So
Yeah.
not too bad, but hey, it is what it is. Right, Ben, do you want to kick off about the event that happened this week?
Yes, Samsung. Are you referring to Samsung's event?
I am. Yes.
Yeah. So we've kind of briefly spoken about this already, but Samsung have announced their new lineup of foldable, flippable phones and watches. I believe their earphones as well. Their wireless earphone option. They might have announced a new option there as well. But essentially, the Galaxy Z Fold 4 and Z Flip 4 also. I think. Like we spoke about, Snoop, I think the improvements lie more with the Flip. They've upped the battery milliamp hours, so expect stronger battery life. Obviously, it's all down to testing. A higher number doesn't necessarily always mean longer battery life. It's all down to optimization and whatnot. But I owned a Flip 3 and I had to return it for that exact reason. It's just not feasible as a daily driver. The battery was nowhere near good enough, so I'm hoping the Flip 4 is an improvement there. The Fold 4, I believe just a few small refinements. To be honest, quite similar refinements for both models. Smaller hinge, a tiny improvement in terms of bezel size on the Fold. Anything I'm missing, Snoop, that you haven't seen? I haven't already mentioned?
Here, I think basically, if you have a Fold 3, don't bother with a Fold 4 because it's one of the smallest changes, right? The only big change that I can think will be battery life because they're using the new Snapdragon Gen 1 chips, right? And those chips have been known to do very well in battery life. So if you're suffering with battery life, maybe, but is it worth the upgrade? I don't think so.
No.
However, saying that, Samsung are giving up to £750 in the UK, that is, if you give back your Fold 3 and get a Fold 4, which is tempting me, but
that is a lot, yeah.
That is a lot. However, being on a foldable, and Jabba has seen me play with many foldables, haven't you, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, but this is me personally, we're playing with everything that's out there. I don't think you can beat the Surface Duo with two separate screens. There is
I've seen some of the.
It's the split screen.
I've seen some of the videos there.
Yeah,
I think it might be able to do it with that new multi-view. Some of the improvements they've made.
That looks good. Very seamless.
Exactly. Yeah, the sort of tech demo they did on that. Honestly, I think it lives up to your Duo there.
It does, but the Duo is also going to pick up the new Android 12L.
That's true.
Two screens are better than one. I'm not going to lie. I keep on going back to the Duo. Like I've tried the Nothing. I had that for a week. I'm jumping back to the Duo. I
think the Duo, and I can't remember. I think it might have been Oppo that done that weird foldable, but their form factor and aspect ratio is far better than the Fold. I'm waiting for the Fold to sort out the aspect ratio, have a bit wider of a single screen experience. We've talked about this so many times, probably even on the podcast previously. But I want a Fold. I desperately want a Fold, but I'm not going to buy one when I have to it's like I'm using a banana on a single screen experience. It's too skinny. It's not good enough as of a single screen experience. And you're not always going to open it up, you open it up for productivity tasks or media consumption, but making a phone call, you don't open it up, and I guess you don't need a wider screen to make a phone call, but I don't know. I've felt it in my hands. I've used it, and as a single screen experience, I just don't think it's good enough, but I'm hoping the next one, maybe they'll do it. It's been 4 iterations now. I'm hoping the 5th finally.
Well, talking about foldables, Moto Razr 2022, they've also announced their folding phone. This one doesn't have a crease in the middle, and it has a bigger screen on the outside. It's like the Flip 4. Jabed, from what you can see in the pictures, what is your take on
picture-wise? It looks okay. It kind of gives me a call back to the old Motorola's. They used to get the old flips back in the day, which I guess that's exactly what they're going for. But I don't know. It's not sold me on it, just based on the specs and the renders alone.
Ben, what about you? You've seen the screen on the Flip 4, well, Flip 3. You had it, a bigger screen on the front on this.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think the original iteration of the new Flip Razr, I don't know how we even want to title it, but the original one was one of, I can't remember if at that point Samsung had announced their Flip. I think their Flip 1 may have been out. I don't know, don't quote me, but this is where the hype came from for me for flippable foldable phones, with the original Motorola Razr remake. This, like it says in the article, the original one was kind of a gimmick. Hey everyone, look what we can do with our tech kind of thing. This one, they've improved the specs quite a bit. Very interesting. I think the main thing here is to see how it stacks up against the Flip 4 in terms of battery life, performance, because that's a big factor as well. You've got to take into consideration how their version of Android runs on that device. So I think, I don't know, I've owned a Flip device. I loved it. Probably one of my favorite pieces of tech I've owned, just for the gimmick. Just so much fun, and portability too. I think a lot of people forget about that. The portability of a Flip phone is great. It'd be exciting to see how it stacks up against the Flip 4. That's what I'll do, and potentially consider buying one if the stronger contender. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go into different news. Planes. I don't know if you remember, Boeing had a massive issue with their planes with massive defects. They've now begun to deliver their planes out to different organizations. And I don't know, I mean, they fixed their manufacturing flaws, but would you all feel comfortable being in a Boeing despite all of the issues that they had recently, or are you still a bit edgy about sitting on these brand new Boeings that had problems, software problems?
I don't really know the backstory here. I don't know the history of Boeing having issues, really.
Well, I can tell you. So basically, Boeing had a piece of software which caused the plane to basically kind of nosedive or do something wrong, basically.
Oh God.
And there was an accident because of it all, and they had to go back and redo it all. It could cause them a lot of issues, and they've now brought these planes back out. They've sorted out other issues in terms of spacing, everything. I mean, it was the 737 Max that actually killed the 346 people, unfortunately. But again, obviously that they use the same software across the board.
Yeah,
it is a shame. I'd like to see Boeing come back into the Ford tray, but
I didn't know they had so much issues. To be completely honest, I don't know what plane I'm getting on when I take a flight, and I probably should. But let's be honest, it is, once you step foot on that plane, there's nothing you can do as a civilian to make sure there isn't software faults and whatnot. So I guess, yeah, like that is interesting to me. It's news to me. Maybe something I should have been a bit more.
I just came back from the plane ride. So if I knew I was getting one of those, I'd probably be a bit terrified. But like Ben said, like they know what they're doing with it, or you have to trust them. It's all out of our hands.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So NVIDIA bringing lifelike avatars and chatbots and all of that. Having realistic AI avatars. I mean, they did release something where they randomly generated faces that look real.
Mm-hmm.
What is your views on this, all about having realistic faces that that aren't even real?
You get into the uncanny valley at some point, don't you? From what I've seen of the avatars they're making, they look pretty decent. They don't strike you as like creepy just yet, at least. But I think the closer we get to it, the closer we'll get to that, where it's just going to make you a bit uncomfortable. But for the sake of, are they going to use this for like just, I don't know,
Yeah.
serving people? Or are they going to use it for people to be able to use them as webcam avatars? What is the purpose of these AI avatars?
They haven't really said because it's really early on, but if they were to use it as your webcam avatars, I mean, that's quite scary. That you think you know somebody, but they look like somebody else, completely like somebody else. The only thing that I have an issue with this is, are they going to bring any form of control behind it? Because it's all great having this technology, but if people can start making, these faces that are fake, or if you could put another person's face onto somebody else's body and it looks like it is, all of these deep fakes, it's really dangerous if it goes into the wrong hands. I mean,
Absolutely. I can see the Twitch homepage right now. With all the new I don't even know what they're called. There's like
VTubers.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there is already one that springs to mind. I can't remember her name. But she has,
is it Code Miko?
Code Miko, exactly.
There we go.
She already has something pretty similar to what we've just seen in that article. Quite a realistic, quite well developed AI character that she plays, but also streams as herself. Very interesting. If you haven't heard of her, look it up. Very, very interesting. But it's kind of if we're talking about Twitch streamers that are going above and beyond, let me just give a quick, not shout out because I'm in no place to give shout outs, but look up the Sushi Dragon. If you haven't seen someone fully utilize technology on a Twitch stream before, the Sushi Dragon is unbelievable. What he does is amazing, so entertaining. Take a look, have a look on YouTube. Really interesting.
Interesting. We'll definitely give that a go. Right, next up, Kim Kardashian has a collaboration with Beats Fits Pro to get earbuds that the same color of her skin. Javid, are you going to jump onto one of these?
It'd be wrong of me not to. I mean, there's one for everyone. It's great. It's skin tone plastic. Why would you not want to have your earbuds blend in?
They are good earbuds, to be fair. I mean, I can't believe. I mean, me and Snoop have had this conversation before. Can't believe I'd ever recommend a pair of Beats headphones, but they are good. They are, I would say, up there in its category. The colors are kind of cool, regardless of the purpose behind them. They're cool. They're cool looking earphones.
Yeah, I mean,
colors is always better, right?
Yeah, but if you want ears to look like Kim Kardashian, here we go. In all honesty, the Beats Fit Pro, for people that don't know, is basically the same as the AirPods Pro. Same chip, same everything. It actually has better mic performance and it's cheaper. So I think they're beginning to sort out the brand, aren't they now? Apple with the Beats brand, I think they're taking it a bit more seriously.
It's interesting because you wouldn't think they'll take that route, considering they push their own peripherals so much. It's kind of like I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw marketing or advertising for Beats headphones, but at the same time, they are continually improving them, which is interesting. It's an interesting
You know what I do see adverts for? Those Ray J earphones.
Oh God.
Raycon. What are they? Raycons. There you got. Everyone's advertising Raycons everywhere you go.
Very good marketing campaign for sure. YouTubers.
Genuinely.
Nice. Now this one's for Ben. Spotify Soundtrap. Not something I've come across. Only came across this today. But allows artists who want to make music with distant friends. You can both collaborate on making music. What is your view on this?
I've never heard of this. This is a new thing, clearly. Well, it might not be. An online digital DAW. Okay, so yeah, music production software, collaborative music production software. I could see that being useful. I mean, my very limited knowledge of the music production industry, because let's be very clear, it is limited. From what I know, the current kind of workflow for producers working on a single track is quite literally emailing files using things that we transfer back and forth and making hard changes to the file. And yeah, it's not great. So something like that, I would imagine, will be really, really welcomed. Yeah, it'll be, and I'd imagine if Spotify are running with it or some kind of beta or something, all of the big players will jump in and get update their software and get that feature in there. Ableton, Fruity Loops, all of it, really Logic. I'd imagine it'll introduce it soon.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, if it enables more artists to be heard, then that would be great.
Yeah.
Right. This is the one thing I'm really excited about. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 hitting the theaters in 2024. I really enjoyed watching 1 and 2. I'm not gonna lie.
1 was great. 1 was genuinely a good movie. I haven't seen 2 yet, but it sounds
2
like you have high praise for it.
Just as good. Oh man, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I actually went to watch it with my nephew and my niece in the cinema.
Now, do you think it would have been as good if they went with the original design of Sonic?
No.
Oh my god!
Straight away, no.
Horrendous. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I've not seen either 1 or 2, but I'm glad you guys are praising it, and it actually gets praises considering the. Well, let's put it this way: that's what happens. I mean, this is a good example of a company listening to the community, right? Because
I think they got bullied. That's what happened.
Yeah, they did. It was awful. Let's be completely honest. It was awful, the original character design. And even if the movie was good and it came out like that, it would have just been a meme. Let's be honest. It wouldn't have got praise for being a good movie. It would have been a meme. So
well, let's just think about this, right? Movie adaptations into games or games into movies has been poor, right? But as of late, we're getting some really good content. Resident Evil on Netflix is amazing. Sonic has been good. There's been other movies like Halo, the TV series, has been fantastic. I mean, they're really beginning to capture the storyline both ways. And I think we're now at a good point. I mean, the only thing that was very good, changing it movie to a game or game to a movie back in the day, was actually GoldenEye, and nothing else came close to that, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Since then, I think it's all changed. So
I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. That's one of the first games that I ever played growing up. I'm hesitant to watch the Netflix series. I do need to give it a try. I've seen bad reviews.
No, it's good. Yeah, give it a go. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not that bad either.
Can't be worse than the movies. But yeah, speaking of adaptions, is that the word? Adaptations. Sorry, adaptions. I don't know where I got that from. 31 degrees. We have the, I never talk about this. I never mention this game, but the Last of Us TV series. And I am so excited for that.
You've never mentioned how much you like Last of Us before. That's
best game ever made. Best game series ever made. I'm going to put it out there. #1 game of all time. I consider both of them one game, really. But we've got the Last of Us 1 remake for next generation coming out soon, and then supposedly on the Last of Us Day, which I can't believe I'm saying this, I can't remember when that is, they're going to release the trailer for the TV series with Bella Ramsey as Ellie. And what is his name? Very good actor as Joel. He played in Game of Thrones. He played the guy that had his head squashed like a bug. What's his name?
I don't know.
Oberyn. So, I don't know, but you can look it up. Google the Last of Us TV series. You'll see very good actors playing the main roles there.
Nice. Now, Javed, your area, Intel finally introduces Arc Pro GPUs.
I haven't had a chance to look at how it lines up against everything else, but so far I've seen good reviews from things, so it looks like they're doing well. It looks like, again, their purpose isn't to beat the flagships from Nvidia or AMD, but I think they're finding their niche, which is important. More competition is always better.
just to be clear here as well, these Arc
Yeah.
Pro GPUs are workstation graphics cards as opposed to gaming graphics cards, right?
Yes.
They still haven't. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's like another promise. They haven't really. We'll see. We'll see if they deliver, because the gaming GPUs by Intel are still yet to be, tested by the general public or released. So we'll see if they can keep up with the promises. That'll be interesting.
Cool. Now, headphones, and we love our audio stuff. Sennheiser promising 60 hours of listening time with the new headphones, and that's with active noise cancellation turned on.
Yeah.
60 hours.
We'll
Like,
see.
wow.
I've seen a lot of every gaming monitor promises 1 millisecond gray to gray, right? It's not true. We'll see.
Yeah, but the Sonys do give you 30.
Yeah, that's double. That's my point. Sennheiser are claiming double the top of the line. Well, okay, I have one thing to say to this. Let's see when Artings get their hands on it. Let's see what they say, because they test tech to the point of no end. That they are really good at testing tech, and I think that'll be the place to go once they're released. See what they really come out.
Was that a 6-hour charge on 10 minutes? I'll believe it when I see it. Gosh.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of promises.
We will see. But Sennheiser are definitely up there. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out. Now, iOS 16 bringing back the percentage in their beta.
Groundbreaking.
I'm sorry, I'm an Android guy. Is that not a feature?
No.
Oh my god, what?
That's not been a feature since I've owned an iPhone, and I'm on the latest beta release, and it's there. Yeah, a feature that I'm pretty sure we like referencing this. The Nokia 3310 had. So
No, Apple invented this. This is
groundbreaking.
the first.
What's sad is it actually exciting? When I saw that, I actually went, "Oh man, I need to download the most recent public beta. I need to do it." That's the sad part. Yeah.
I mean, now, but I guess it's good to see the percentage. But I don't know. I've got an iPhone, and all I need to know is when it goes low, it goes yellow, and I know it's low. Yeah. I don't. I mean, they last a long while, unless they're now saying, battery life isn't going to be as good. I doubt that. I think it's going to be better. It's a hard one. I mean, I don't find I need to charge the iPhone for a good 2-3 days now on the way how I use it. So.
Yeah, it does. The 13 Pro and Pro Maxes, the Pro Max especially, last a very long time. And you're right, it's not really necessary, but I do find myself swiping down top right corner all the time to check my percentage. That's just because I'm over the top. So I guess it stops me from doing that, which is, it's a little bit more useful, I guess.
Makes sense.
On the topic of iPhones, though, you guys excited for that USB-C change in 2023?
I've been told so many times it's coming. I'll see it when I know it's EU law now, right? But
but we're not in the EU anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think the law still applies though, because it's.
Oh, does it?
I believe it does. I don't think it's like a. I don't know. Let's not get into political grey area. I don't know where that law lies, but I'm sure the UK will enforce that too.
Whether it applies or not, though, I think if they have to make a whole region into USB-C, the whole world's going USB-C. They're not gonna double down on Lightning in one place.
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly.
And it's very welcomed. Yeah, it's very welcomed. I am now at a point where I'm not buying any device unless it's USB-C. No more micro USB, no more mini USB devices. Only micro. Only USB-C, sorry.
Right. Less than 1% of Netflix subscribers are playing its games. What games? What?
Yeah, I have no idea. This is
they have a choose your own adventure, I think. They had one choose your own adventure game. If I remember, that's all I know about.
Android games.
What?
Play Store.
Yeah. These aren't TV choice games. These are actual games that you download and play. Yeah. They've got more than one, by the way. They've got an Indian one that if you're talking about that multi-choice one. They got one with the Undertaker where you have to survive being killed by the wrestler. They've got they've got loads out there, mate. If you didn't realize, the best one was Bandersnatch, though.
Oh yeah, but Bandersnatch.
Oh yeah, good point.
Bandersnatch was like a choice adventure thing. I think the games they're referring to here are quite literally games from the Android Play Store. Like there's games. I think it said at the bottom of the page there that you could play Into the Breach, which is actually a really good game. made by the same
So
people.
how do you access these games? Like, is
I
it
don't
through the
know.
Netflix app or
I don't know. This is why less than 1% or 1% of people are playing them, I guess, because no one knows how to. No one even knows. No one even knew. This is the general consensus I see everywhere on Twitter, Reddit. Nobody knew there were games on Netflix. They didn't really tell anyone.
No, and this is where they'll fall short. They will definitely fall short.
Yeah.
Electrical cars becoming a lot more affordable in the UK, that is. I mean, for £26,000, you get an electrical MG car. That's quite exciting.
Yeah.
I guess it makes it a lot
It's
more
cheap.
affordable.
For
And
a
it has,
brand new car, that is cheap. You have to take into consideration with the electric cars all the extra costs. If you want to, like getting a charging station installed and whatnot, and all the restrictions that come with that in London. Obviously we're talking from experience here. We all live in London, so that's why I mentioned that. But I've only driven one car from MG before, and it was an interesting experience. So I don't know if I'll jump to the opportunity to buy an MG, but
well, they are
electric cars are
Japanese
cool.
brand now, aren't they? They're no longer British. So
MG, I thought they were. I thought it was.
no.
I think it was. I
No,
didn't know.
no.
I didn't think it was Japanese. I thought it was
No, Chinese.
Taiwan.
So
Chinese.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Chinese. So it used to be a British brand, now Chinese. But
Yeah.
it's good to see that electrical cars are becoming affordable, though. That's the thing, right? Because at the moment it's still out of reach for a lot of people. So if they make it affordable, more people will jump on it, and maybe we'll see more MGs on the road. God knows. I never thought I'd see loads of MGs on the road.
MGs, yeah.
Sure. Twitter. Again, this is what we spoke about last podcast about your digital data and information. Vulnerability exposing 5.4 million users. Guys, are you Twitter users?
I am, but
I am as well. Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like taking this stance because it's kind of like, if you don't stand for your data, you don't stand for anything. But there's none of my data is at risk. I use it very casually and very to be completely honest, just to stay up to date with music. Really, there's nothing really. But yeah, I mean, it's not good enough for a company of its size to be having data leaks like that. I don't know how companies haven't learned after having at least one data leak. Yeah, it's disappointing.
It is, but again, we'll definitely do a podcast telling people and explain to everybody, to all of our listeners, and what they need to do to secure their data. Quite important. Now I'm going to end this one on with Apple developing a smart display. I mean, to be honest, Siri isn't great. I'm just going to say that out there.
Isn't,
yes.
Yeah, it's behind Google Assistant for sure. Absolutely.
And behind the Amazon Assistant.
I was gonna say, don't you dare say Bixby. Don't you dare say Bixby. We don't talk about Bixby on this podcast.
It's not that bad, you know.
It's terrible.
Bixby routines is pretty decent. Snoop showed me the light on that.
Thank you.
That is pretty. It's pretty good. Like genuinely. But Bixby the assistant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
I mean, I like the idea, but they need to sort themselves out in terms of what their assistant can do. I think it still lags behind, like you said. I think unless they're gonna come up with a big update. I mean, Siri hasn't been updated in a long time.
It's very true.
And will they do something this time round? Will they announce something? I'm not too sure, but it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be an interesting spot to see how that goes. But yeah, this week has been really interesting. I think it's primarily been dominated by Samsung, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, primarily for sure.
But anything that you guys are looking forward to in terms of new tech that might come out, or anything you're hearing in the grapevine that's worthwhile keeping an eye out on?
Nothing from me. Nothing in the. I mean, I'm looking forward to Apple's announcements. But yeah, nothing springs to mind, to be completely honest. I was waiting for the Samsung new lineup to be released. Oh, the flip and fold, that's happened now. Bit bit, underwhelming. Expected more, to be honest, but just refinements, as everyone in tech is saying about those two new devices. Refinements, just polishing around the edges, nothing crazy.
Jared, what about you? Anything you're looking out for, or anything you'd like to see?
Not on the tech front. I think we zoomed past it, but there's that Pac-Man movie that's been announced. I'm looking forward to seeing the train wreck there. But other than that, not much.
I mean, that movie's just going to be you watching around things, swallow smaller things.
You see what would be interesting if they made it a horror film.
Yes.
Where you're watching from the perspective of the ghosts, sort of like Cube or something, but with Pac-Man instead. That would be very cool. I would love to watch that.
Speaking of that, you should definitely look up the Winnie the Pooh horror movie if you haven't seen that. Yeah,
I haven't.
like
No, what?
fan-made trailer or something that's circulating everywhere.
Oh, it's public domain now, isn't it? Is that why?
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Oh god.
And it is actually terrifying. So look up that before you go to bed for sure.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Okay.
Wow. Okay, I will definitely check that out. that is hilarious. Okay, right, guys. I think we're at the podcast, and again, I want to say thank you to all the listeners that are tuning in, listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it all, and obviously, we know we're a little bit late this week. We've been really busy, but we wanted to make sure that we get a podcast out this week. We'll be back on our normal midday podcast next week. But yeah, to everybody out there, have a good week ahead of you. And if you're in the UK, enjoy the sunshine. If you're elsewhere in the world, I hope you get the sunshine as well. So take care, everybody.